Yeah, so in terms of compiling down the JavaScript, what we need to do is find the Moodle dev docs about grunt. And let's look at this. We do want to install grunt, so let's look at that one actually. And we need to follow these steps. So the first thing you'll need to do is navigate to your code base. Make sure you have npm actually installed. So you'll need to be able to run npm-v and see something. If you can't, then you'll need to run something like apt-get update and install Node.js npm. Now, we have to make sure we're on the right version of npm as well, because that'll give us problems. So we need to make sure we install nvm and make sure we're using the right version of that as well. So make sure that you have nvm installed and then do something like nvm use and see how it actually knew which one to find just based on what directory it was in. And it knows to go to npm 6.14. Then you can run something like npm install, like it says here. And continue with installing grunt. Okay, great. So you should have grunt CLI. So let's go to the running grunt section to see how to do that. Grunt AMD. Yeah, so basically this is the main one we want to use. AMD is going to mean it minifies the files. So if we go down into our particular folder, we don't want to do it for all of Moodle, we just want to do it for our plugin. So let's run that in here. It does linting first, which means it kind of looks at the code, see if it's got any problems, any undefined variables, stuff like that. So we finished that AMD process. So what has that done? Let's go back into our code. If we look in the build folder now, you see how we've got some extra files here? So we've got the minified version of the JavaScript, which you can see it is the same as this, but it's minified. It's just taking, like, what it does is kind of strips out all the white space and the line breaks and stuff, and then any kind of variables, it just replaces them, like the dollar sign, it kind of replaces it with an A, and the next variable, if you had any other variable, it would replace with a B, and just makes them one character long and as small as possible. So you can see what that's doing there. And then the map is going to help Moodle actually map the minified version to the normal version, and that lets you do debugging and stuff easier as well. We want to be able to refresh our page and see that JavaScript happening in here. And if we do that, I think it's not going to work straight away because JavaScript is normally cached. Let's go in our config file and we want to add an extra bit of config here. The dist file explains it, but there's a cache.js, this one. Let's get that into our config. And then, oh yeah, of course it's not for production servers, but we want to reload the JavaScript every time. We don't want to cache it at all because we're editing it all the time. And we want to do, every time we refresh the page, we just want to pull the latest JavaScript down. So let's refresh that again. And you can see our JavaScript is showing up there now. We got our console logs happening. This kind of looks weird, but that's just what jQuery gives you once you select an element. It gives you this special object, and you can see that it has selected two of those actually, because they both have this local message delete button class, so it selected that one and that one. So that's looking good. We are able to actually inject some JavaScript into the page now.